What's up guys, Ryan here from Mud Gunner, and today I have a pretty fun video to show you. So we are going to be comparing, a quick comparison, the Surefire RC2 next to the Dead Air Sandman S. Now I know you might be thinking, well Ryan, that's a 5.56 can, that's a 30 cal can. You're right. So to make it a little bit more fair, I also brought out my 7.62 Mini, which is the same size as the RC2 5.56. It just has a 30 caliber hole. But I think when a lot of people are thinking about suppressing an AR-15, you know, chances are you're buying one suppressor to start. That's what I did. I started with one, and then over time I just slowly added to my collection. So I've talked about suppressors before, whether I think you should get 30 cal or 5.56. And I mean, I think my point would be to go 30 cal first because you have a little bit more leeway with it. Can run it on multiple guns. A lot of 30 cals are like 22 Win Mag all the way up to 300 Win Mag, which that's a lot in between. So yeah, I always talk about 30 cal cans first, but Surefire is a very well-known, renowned company. They're one of the most iconic AR suppressors out there. So I definitely don't blame you if you want to start with an RC2. This is just a quick comparison showing how they sound like side by side. I have two ARs here I'm going to be running suppressed. They're both 10.3 inch barrels. We have a Daniel Defense V7 and then a Colt Mark 18. So they both have like 10.3 inch barrels. I tried to make it as fair as I can. Now we're going to be running the Dead Air Sandman S on the Daniel Defense V7 here. I just want you guys to know it has an H buffer, so the factory Daniel Defense H buffer, which being a 30 cal can, it'll be a little bit softer shooting. This one has a Geissele H2 buffer, so the Geissele Super 42 spring with their buffer. And I think that shoots really nice suppressed with the Surefire RC2. They both have flash hiders on here. That's a Surefire 4-prong. That's a Dead Air flash hider. So they're as close as I can get them. They're both running Geissele triggers. But yeah, I tried to make it as fair as I can. But we will run the 5.56 RC2 and the 7.62 RC2 on the Mark 18. But we're going to start with the 5.56 because chances are you're choosing maybe between these two. And there's a lot of other great suppressors too. I just wanted to do a direct side-by-side comparison on these two. And then ammo-wise, we are going to be running PMC X-Tac 5.56. This was sponsored to me by Arizona Firearms, which is the store I work at, so I want to thank them. They provided the ammo for today's video. If you guys are looking to get some cool guns here in Arizona, I'm not endorsing that, you know, there's guns for sale, but check out Arizona Firearms. You won't be disappointed. So with that being said, I'm going to get the mags loaded up, get the guns suppressed, and yeah, I'll show you guys how they sound side by side. All right, guys, to start, I'm going to shoot my friend Danny's gun. She's going to let me use it for this, but I'm going to just show you guys how 5.56 sounds unsuppressed. Chances are you already know, but I want to give you guys kind of a baseline of what we're going with. So I'm going to just fire 2 rounds at dirt. Noticeably loud, and that's a 10-inch barrel as well. It's got a Surefire War Comp on there. Now let's say you throw a Surefire suppressor on there. This is what you can expect to hear. It's all clean, so like those initial gases. Let me shoot 2 more. Any suppressor adds some back pressure, so there's gases coming out, but I just cleaned this and oiled this last night. Let me shoot another 2, maybe we can dissipate some of those gases. Yeah, you'll notice it. It's a little smoky. Depending on your environment, right? If you shoot indoors, you're gonna get gassed out. Where outdoors, there's a little bit of a breeze, but just those initial shots, they were kind of gassing me out. But I've noticed gassing can depend on where you're at. So if it's windy out, you don't notice it, but out in the open, you don't notice it as bad. Indoors at a range, you're gonna notice it a lot more, but you'll notice it's much quieter. Let me pop my ears out, just my left ear. I guess I'll half pull my right ear out too. 5.56 is not super quiet, but it is quiet enough that it's bearable without hearing protection. But just know it's still about 140 decibels, which can be damaging to your ear. But yeah, for you guys. Yeah, it's got some pop to it. All right, now let me pull up the Dead Air Sandman S. So this is a 30 caliber suppressor. 2 rounds. Oh, all the paper's falling. It's got a little bit more snap. Danny, what do you think?
I was watching.
Oh, she was watching the video. All right, let me fire 2 more.
Let me see.
It's similar, and again, this is a 30 caliber suppressor. Let me grab them side by side. Gonna dual wield some ARs here. All right, so Surefire, then Dead Air. Dead Air is louder. Yeah. How both? It is bearable. It's not quiet, but it is bearable. Yeah, so just off the initial sound, the Dead Air is a little bit louder. But you got to think about, what are you using this for? Is this mainly so, you know, you're not blowing your eardrums out if this is a bedside gun for home defense? Are you running with a team of people, or are you running competitions where you want it to be a little bit softer shooting and quieter? Because I run my suppressor for competition and it's nice. It's noticeably nicer than other people. Yeah, I mean, just kind of figure out what you want to use it for. The Dead Air, again, is also modular between different guns, so you can run it in a variety of calibers. That RC2, you are just stuck with running on there. But that's not bad. Let me shoot the unsuppressed AR again, because you'll notice it's significantly quieter. Pop my ears back in more. All right, unsuppressed again. So, yeah, it kind of gives you guys a baseline. I'm gonna show you one other thing. All right, so let's say you want a quiet gun, right? 5.56 isn't it. I will say that right off the bat. Suppressing a 5.56 is cool and all, but if you want a dedicated quiet gun, you need a dedicated built-up 300 blackout. You can do, your own build. You could buy something like this, which is the Q Honey Badger. But just know, 5.56 will never be quiet in comparison to 300 blackout. Someone commented on one of my other videos, they're like, 300 blackout isn't quiet. I don't see the point of it. Well, let me show you this. It is significantly quieter than 5.56. Let me shoot them side by side. It is so much quieter, it's like unreal. Let me get this under. All right, so 5.56, 300. Now let me grab the Dead Air. There's just no comparison in these. So saying 300 blackout is not quiet is kind of false in my opinion. Is it the quietest? No, you can get super quiet, subsonic 9mm, maybe 45, definitely 22. But in an AR-15 specifically, nothing is quieter than 300 blackout in my mind. I know 8.6 blackout's a new thing. That's like a 338 Lapua bullet that's subsonic. I haven't shot that yet, but just know if you're trying to get a quiet gun, the 5.56 isn't it. But what I like to recommend to people is a 30 cal can, because then you can at least, run it on both. I did a video comparing the Q Honey Badger next to the Sig Rattler, next to my buddy's Daniel Defense PDW. His PDW, he's running the Dead Air Sandman S, and with subsonic ammo, it's extremely quiet. And this is running a Dead Air Sandman S. Dirt first. Steel. So I think that's where I like recommending a 300 can, because you can at least have the option. It's very windy. We're losing everything. But yeah, so just know guys, everything has its own dedicated purpose. The 300, I mean, this is just so nice. And I don't have ears. There's no like sharp noises at all. This is so quiet. And this isn't even the quietest ammo. This is 200 grain SMB ammo. If you run like higher end 220 grain ammo, it's gonna be even quieter, because this 200 grain SMB, it's not the greatest ammo. I've actually had feeding issues with this a lot in my Sig Rattler. Honey Badger seems to be okay, but it does make the gun dirtier much faster. So yeah, we have 2 more rounds. Let me just fire these 2 rounds and yeah, call it good. Look. Also, 300 subsonic suppressed is much softer shooting than 5.56. So also makes a great home defense weapon. If you want to do like the 30 cal can on a dedicated 300 blackout build for your home defense, and then also have the option of 5.56, I think it's great. What I'm gonna do, as long as the Surefire RC2 is cool enough, I'm gonna take that off and put the Surefire 7.62 on there, so you can at least hear the comparison between those two. All right, so now I have the Surefire 7.62 Mini lined up on the Mark 18. I'm gonna just shoot this unsuppressed again, just so you guys have an understanding. So here's unsuppressed. Nice and loud. Now here's the Surefire 7.62 Mini, so 30 caliber suppressor. Not bad. Let me pop this here out just a little bit. It's definitely got the snap, but it's not as crazy bad on my ears. You would still want to wear hearing protection, because again, it's not quiet, guys. Like, it's quiet enough to not blow your eardrums out, but it's not quiet. I can't say that's a quiet round in comparison to 300 blackout, 9mm, stuff like that. Here's the 30 cal Dead Air Sandman S. Okay, now let's pull them up side by side. I'm gonna pop this ear out just halfway. So I'm gonna shoot the Surefire and then the Dead Air. It's similar. It's different, but similar. I think it's really close to tell. Now the video might show different. The mic is right in the center here, so I mean they're equal lengths apart. Let me alternate the guns, because maybe the pop out of the chamber area is maybe different from this. Let me alternate them. So it might sound slightly different to you guys, but to me they're very close. All right. Get my sling off. All right, so we'll do Sandman and then the Surefire. Well, now from this angle, maybe the Surefire is a little louder. It's still close. So I think if you've settled on maybe doing a 30 cal suppressor, they're close enough that it wouldn't make a big difference to me. But what would make a difference is going to be the price, because those Dead Air Sandman S's, they're about $900-ish. I mean, up or down depending on availability and demand, because right now demand's high on suppressors. The Surefire, I think, is like $1,100 or $1,200, plus it does not come with a mount. The Dead Air at least comes with a 30 caliber mount. So if pricing is a factor for you guys, I mean, the Dead Air is the better price point. Mounting system, I definitely like the Surefire mounting system more. It's just a better mount. This can is still stupid. I can't even touch any of them, but this one, you just press the mount, untwist it, and it pops off. This one, you unscrew the whole Dead Air suppressor. Ouch, ouch, everything's hot. So I'm gonna show you guys with this. I don't even know if I can touch it. But you would just twist this to the left, which it's kind of tight right now. And I don't have good leverage. So I can't even show you guys. But mounting system wise, I like the Surefire more, but the muzzle devices are like $150 to $170. Dead Airs, they're cheaper. They're about $80 to $100 depending on what you get. But I mean, mounting system wise and overall suppressor, I like Surefire more, but you're paying for it. As far as like price, convenience, and you know, everything that's available for it, everything seems to lean towards Dead Air nowadays. So I don't necessarily have one that I would say you need to buy first. It's just personal preference. I like them both, but I like the Surefire more. So I think that's all I have for you guys. I mean, hopefully this was helpful a little bit, because I know suppressors can get intimidating. It's tough if you don't have a way to shoot them before you buy them. I understand that. Just know, you know, dedicated setups like that Q Honey Badger for me, 300 Blackout, that's going to be the way to go quiet. If you want just overall, you know, get your foot in the door, buying a 30 cal can or even the 5.56 can, there's nothing wrong with that, because it at least gets your foot in the door of suppressors. And chances are you're going to build setups more than once just to kind of figure out what you like, because when you suppress a gun, you make it dirtier. Cleaning these guns is always a nightmare after shooting suppress. And then as far as just basic upgrades to get your AR ready to suppress, you might look into the Geisley buffer systems, because it's a little bit heavier. So I run a Geisley H2 buffer and their braided spring. This one is just running the factory H buffer with the standard carbine spring. But if you're running dedicated suppress guns long term, you want to upgrade the springs, because it'll make your gun last a little bit longer, maybe be softer shooting, because it's kind of like a science. And you can make stuff work for a long time, but you are adding a little bit more pressure on the gun. So yeah, I'll stop boring you guys. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Suppressors are a lot of fun. I love shooting them suppressed, but there's a lot that goes into it. So stay tuned for my next video, and thank you guys for watching.